Sir.
Oh!
What up, party people?
We is back. What's up, Rob?
What up, Mr. Kenny?
I'm
How are
just
you
glad to
doing,
be
sir?
back in the hot seat, baby.
Oh, yeah. It's been a long time coming. Sorry for
Oh,
the
man.
long
I must have
absence.
a jinx or something, dude. The other night I was on Fishy Biz. He was going like this for flies or something, too. What, do I carry parasites with me or what, dude?
No, it's starting to warm up here in Indiana, so that's when all the bugs come out. So for those who are watching this replay, thank y'all so much. As always, we are back on a consistent schedule. Had some family issues, but we're going to talk about that later on. So as always, stay tuned, and I appreciate it. For those who are in the chat, what up?
What up, man?
Let's see who's all in the chat. S is in the chat. Ooh, who
What
put
up,
that?
S?
Who put that? Wow, that is the comment now. What is going on there,
Dude, I can't understand it. Everybody uses symbols anymore. I don't understand half of them.
What's up, Anna?
It's like you're playing Pictionary to understand what they're saying, man.
So, Mr. Kenny, you came through with another great guest.
Brother, I am excited, and I'm excited for this guy. I really am. I mean, we out here, he represents our Pacific Northwest, one of the best and most awesome, amazing guys that I can even open my eyes to. I mean, I've hung out with this dude personally a couple times. Every time's been a great experience. He's an amazing dude. So they're in for a good one tonight.
Yes, sir. But before we do, because the person is still needing to do some things, because as always during Rob 93, we always do at the last moment. I want to do a share screening of something that is very interesting, because I guarantee you the person that's on this stream for the guest is probably going to talk about that, because doing all natural is probably the best thing for this person to talk about. So what we're going to do is go to this weird thing that happened over a week ago, I want to say. Share screen. Boom. I think I'm doing it right. Hacked by a thermometer.
What?
In your aquarium at a casino.
Say what? I didn't hear that right.
Yes. Hold on. Let me share it. I gotta share it. Here we go. Is it not doing it?
I don't see it, Bubba.
Come on. It's not working for me. There we go. All right. Am I shared? There we go.
Yes, you are. You are
There
shared.
we are. All right. A casino gets hacked through its thermometer. Its tank thermometer.
How?
Okay, so anything that is Wi-Fi based, like those who like to have the LED lights that are, based off of Wi-Fi, because you can adjust them through your phone or while you're not at home. Even like your thermostat, anything that gives off Wi-Fi signals can definitely get hacked. So it's always the best thing to do is to keep your passwords safe, and always refresh them every so often to make them more difficult for people to hack. But yes, you can look it up. Just look up the words hacked through a fish tank or hacked fish tank, and you will see this. So those who are always want high-tech things may be in risk of doing something like that. So, all right, let's get back to what we were doing. How do I get this off?
I think you got to exit out, man. There you go. You got it.
Hey,
oh, look at you, man. I got to up my game.
That was tight. All right. Our guest is ready. I don't know. Are they ready?
I don't know, man. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, one of the hottest dudes in the Pacific Northwest just hit his 20K mark. Are you ready? This is Mr. Alex with a history living inside your aquarium. Right there he is. What is up, Alex?
What's up, guys? How's it going? Yeah. Thanks for having me.
There we go.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kenny.
What's going on, brother?
Not too much. Just did some weed whacking. I'm growing up. I got a steel weed whacker combi unit. And I never thought I'd be excited about that, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So,
well, you just lost me, brother.
yeah. Well,
Apparently,
it's just
apparently
a
you
weed
haven't
whacker.
you haven't heard the story about me with the weed whacker yet. But
Oh.
if I had steel blades, I'd probably have 2 less feet. I'll put it like that because I whack
man,
myself
yeah.
good with the weed whacker.
Yeah, this hopefully not there yet. I'll have to practice first because, man, yeah, it do some damage. But yeah, how's everybody doing?
We're doing good, man. So let me ask you this before we go any further. How does that 20K mark feel to you, brother?
It feels really surreal. I'm really like happy and grateful about it, but it is weird when I like think back. I was looking at a thumbnail to do like a thank you video to all the subscribers and supporters, and I looked at a picture of myself, and whether it's just been the last year has aged me like as much as the last 4 before that, like it's kind of crazy to see how it started. My channel started as really like a vlog of just me with my phone, and when I learned something interesting, I would share it. And now it's become literally writing research papers once a week for the videos, like with citations and all that kind of stuff for the content. So it's kind of pivoted from being like just a general, like this is what I'm doing, to trying to actually bring in experts in different subjects, and then for me to not become an expert, but for the day to brush up on a topic to the point of learning what the scientific community's consensus is. And I forget a lot of it, but I mean, it's just it feels like I'm in school again or something. But because of that focus, it feels really rewarding when you see that people are subscribing and enjoying that. And my kind of goal with it is, one, entertainment, one, for me, it's fun, but it's also to be a free education, essentially, to not have to spend the money if you don't have it right now, if you're new to the hobby, or maybe you're in another country where things just aren't as accessible. That's awesome when I hear like a kid is like, oh, I learned how to do a totally natural tank, or I check out my aquascape, and they send a picture and it's in a tank that was literally like silicone together, by them. It's just like panes of actual window glass and stuff. Like in the Philippines, I see kids doing that all the time. And it's cool to like be able to reach out to so many different people around so many different places.
It's pretty so real to me, because the first time I ever met you was at the AGA. What was that, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago? I'm trying to remember when that.
Yeah, 3.5 years ago.
You weren't even at 10K yet, so that tells you how much ground you have made in 3 years time. I mean,
yeah, I think I was at maybe 4K. So you were early on, definitely. You and Danny found me quickly. Yeah, for sure. So. And,
well, you're kind of her wheelhouse. She loves the planted tanks, and you do all the stuff she loves. So
I like the nano fish too. And
dang, that's one of my questions, Kenny. He keeps answering questions. I'm gonna run out of them.
I won't run out of things to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you've ever been around Alex, this boy has some stuff he can talk about.
Oh no, good to go. Good to go. I still got it.
While we're on the subject, why don't you ask him a question before he answers it for you again, real quick?
Well, first off, I want to start off with, I was the 20th K. I don't know if I really was officially. If I was, if you look back, maybe. I don't know. But when I did hit the subscribe, it said 20. So
yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I want to, it's nice that you allowed me on your show before you even subscribed to me, you jerk.
Oh, here we go. Already started on you, Rob.
They're already tell me this until now, and I'm like, how didn't you tell me who this person was?
Yeah,
hey, excuse me. You want to make it a hot seat where I can't do what I normally do and share it out to the world, then I'm gonna make you wait to know who it is too. Well,
that's true. You're right. That's right. That's true.
He told me like months ago. He was like, yo, you don't...
Oh, dang. Dang. So you doing a lot of research. What is the most disturbing thing you've ever had to actually read when you're like, ooh, this is a little gruesome?
Well, honestly, I have an anthropology and history background, like school wise anyways. So I've read a lot of pretty bad stuff. You know, if you just read history, especially, you know, World War II or, you know, slavery, whatever it may be, there's a lot of pretty gnarly things. But I think there's an element too that there's like exceptionally bad things sometimes where you feel like for some reason with animals you feel like they don't have a say in it or something maybe. And so sometimes when you see stuff going on with animals, that's a bummer. Like I really don't like seeing, like, even though ethically I guess I don't really care because I eat meat and stuff, but like when people like eat live octopus, like that's one of those things that like seeing that really like just bugs me when you see like in Asian cuisine when they chop that up alive, you know, cut off the arms and then eat it alive. Like, so if you're talking about gruesome, disturbing, I mean, that kind of stuff you come across, like, or shark fins and like what they're doing to the shark populations where they just like trawl net everything out in the water, the Japanese trawlers, and they cut off their dorsal fin and then just toss them back in the water, like flopping and bleeding. You know, some of that stuff's pretty terrible. The dolphin kills they do. That's depressing to find out about. But I mean, on a more human scale, like ethically, like that stuff's a bummer. But to me, like what's more interesting is like in Myanmar or in Colombia or in the Congo or Burkina Faso, you've got like militant groups that, you know, whether it's drugs or weapons or whatever, they'll use or minerals, they'll use whatever resources they have to fund their militias. And there's literally such thing as conflict fish. You know, there are puffers coming out of the Congo that warlords basically are exploiting the locals who fish for a living and, you know, making them give half the money over to them. And that fuels, you know, everything from child soldiers to illegal oil refineries in Nigeria where they tap the oil refinery and then it ruins the ecosystem. If you look up videos on illegal oil refineries in Nigeria, in the Niger Delta, it's like, it looks like Mad Max or the apocalypse. There's these people just covered in oil and soot, and they're literally cooking down in barrels with crude oil that's just literally spilling out into the river. And they've got like a trough that's catching like, I don't know, 70% of that oil that they've like ruptured the pipeline from. And they're cooking it down in barrels, and they're like separating out the Vaseline versus the naphtha versus the whatever, you know, the different layers of it. And then literally like sometimes it explodes. So like half the guys doing it. And there's like, I mean, there's like thousands of people in these slums doing this, and warlords that patrol the area. But it's just kind of crazy that they've also killed off their own source of food, let alone ornamental fish. But I really, that's what I really love. That's one of the things that I wanted to cover on my channel, was how current events and current things are impacting the world around us, you know?
Okay. All right. I like
They're
that.
all giving me hard time. Say, Kenny's sleeping tonight. No, I ain't sleeping
Yeah.
tonight. These boys will tell you. I'm
you're
fired up
sleeping?
tonight. Trust
You're
me.
sleeping?
They're trying to say
You're
I'm sleeping
over
tonight.
here?
He's sleeping with the fishes.
Then Carol Cox says she's leaving because there ain't no comedy. She thought it was a comedy channel.
Oh, we could joke about the genocide.
Oh, no, we'll leave that one alone for sure.
Yeah.
What is your most interesting thing you found out about a fish or plant? What is the most interesting like you've blown your mind where you had to think about it a couple more times?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a hard one because I always tell stuff to my wife that I think's interesting, and then she's like, so, you know, like, and I'm like, you don't think that's the coolest thing ever? And she's like,
right.
I don't know. But I'm lately I've really had my mind blown by all the gender bending that goes on in fish, like their sex changing, I should say. Like how they are able to. What's up, Jess? Manes, tails, fur, and fins. Good to see you.
What's going on, Jess?
And Melvin, what up? But yeah, so I mean, that's one that I really am fascinated by, is like how, I mean, the one that a lot of people know is clownfish, how they can change sex. But if you want to think about it on another level, I say gender, and gender is like how they act, right? Like, and sex is biologically what they are. But there's like sneaker males, like in live bear populations. So there's like male guppies that hardly have a gonopodium, and they have no color to them. A happy fin that does the happy time.
Oh, you mean smacking bellies? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you see the fish doing the little vibrate mode, you know.
Yes, smacking them bellies. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right. Okay.
yeah. That fin is a V-shaped trough that kind of directs things, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so it directs stuff too? Really?
Yeah, yeah. It kind of it allows. I mean, it aims it, so it's like like a guy peeing.
Okay.
Like that, but on a fish. And
some people don't have good aim. Some people don't have good aim.
It's true. and I mean, there are some of them that don't have like Moscow ribbon guppies, for instance. They actually have selectively bred them so that their gonopodium is longer than their body. It's like out past their tail fin. And to reproduce, you either have to hybrid, like use a different strain, or you have to snip that gonopodium.
This isn't a sword. This is a guppy. Because I've seen the swordtails about this dang long, and I'm like, whoa, how can they do that?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So there's that, and then there's also and I actually I did that just as an experiment.
You awoken Patty now, Alex.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's rough now.
It's getting heated up.
Getting a little raunchy up here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess like fish have it easier because they're like already in the shower, in the bath. Like, mammals or land animals, like they need better aim, whereas like a fish, like salmon are just like just like a cloud everywhere, Another interesting thing about plants, you mentioned plants, was allopathy is really interesting to me, which is a chemical warfare that goes on between plants. So like some of the more written about plants all happen to be either agricultural ones or poisonous ones, just because I think that has impacted humanity for a reason. Whereas now they're starting to get to aquatic plants and learn about that stuff. One, from hobbyists, but two, because there's drug companies and things that are interested in what chemicals these plants have. Rico. Oh man.
We're in trouble, Alex. We got Rico and Patty in the same chat. We're in trouble, bro. Sorry to say.
Don't drink your pop at the same time.
No, that's why I've been holding. Hold on. This is the way you got to drink.
Yeah, you cannot drink and read one of these comments. Okay, it's deadly. It's dead. And if you have your phone will be sticky after. Oh, that didn't sound right either.
No, you're bad.
Everybody don't hear what I just said. Don't rehear.
Rewind.
Don't hear anything I just said. Oh.
But the fact that Valsenaria's crypts and jungle val, Italian val, and for instance, a lot of people know that sea chem flourish will melt those plants a lot of times. Well, it's actually the same chemical they've figured out, or similar chemical compounds that cause some of your other plants can cause those to melt. Like some of your crypts can produce chemicals that will do that, as well as some sword plants can cause val to melt. And so I find it really interesting. There's warfare between plants where they fight off each other, and they actually won't grow. Their roots won't grow in the same area because of chemical signals. But then there's also the other interesting thing to me is that acacia trees. Like this is just an example because like there isn't that much specifically known in aquatic plants yet. It's just not that well studied. Like Crystal Castleman is one of the ones who I would say probably knows some of the most about it. And I talked to her and she's like, it's all cutting edge. Like it's all getting learned right now. But she has probably the best book on aquatic plants, I think, called Aquarium Plants Guide. And it's like, I don't know, 1,500 species in a book. But in any case, so the acacia trees, they get eaten by giraffes in Africa. And so what they do is they actually can move their leaves open or closed. And so one thing they do is they close their leaves when they get munched on. So when they start noticing a giraffe eating one part of the tree, through osmotic regulation of water, they're able to send a signal that actually closes the leaves on the other side. So all the leaves lift up on the tree.
The defense system? You mean like literally just...
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, some plants, they close their petals at night. Like if you've seen blooming plants, or even like kabamba in your aquarium, kabamba, parrot feather, alodia, a lot of anacris, all those plants, bacopa, they all angle their... Rotala wallachia does it really extremely. They'll at night they angle their leaves up, so you can tell where they were grown, if they're Asian plants or if they're like northern hemisphere plants.
You can tell from where they've really...
So from what time they close up, because it takes several months for them to get used to the new time change. And so when they come into your aquarium, if they're closing, if they're like all bristly and angled upward heavily in the day, then you know that they were from Southeast Asian farms. Whereas they're probably from Florida Aquatic Nursery or one of the Florida farms, if they're on kind of a similar schedule to you for, you know, 8 to 10 hours a day, they're open. But the other thing I was going to say about the cool thing about acacia trees is not only do they send a signal to close up, they also send another signal through the air. Somehow, I can't remember what chemical it is, but it's a pheromone. And it warns other trees within like 100 meters to do the same, but it also adds an alkaloid, because all that water's moving around to close the plant up. Well, it reduces the dilution of a very bitter alkaloid in the plant. And so the giraffes, when they eat it, it tastes terrible to them and it can make them vomit. So they start like coughing and dry heaving if they eat too much of it, even though that's like their favorite thing to eat. And they've evolved that in certain parts of Africa, certain regions. It's way more strong than in other, and same with like there's a bunch of species of acacia, but some species it's really extreme. So it's an ongoing battle between them, and then the giraffes now have an actual enzyme that breaks down that bitter alkaloid, whatever it is. So researchers just kind of watch this ongoing thing, you know. It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Wow. You mean to tell me it was good then went bad? Wow.
Yeah.
Speed round.
All right.
First time we're doing it. Speed round. It's either good or bad, or it's not good or bad. It's either or. Okay.
We're gonna do speed and then we're gonna run around.
No. I'm gonna say two things and you pick either the ones you like.
This is like hot or not.
Sort of, kind of.
Okay.
Number one, cichlids, live bears.
Cichlids.
Oh. Number two.
That's hard.
Hold on, that deserves a...
Oh, get it. Yeah. He said it's hard, but I don't need no explanation. This is just, I mean, it's hard, but number two, egg scatterer or bubble nester? Favorite to breed?
Oh, egg scatterer.
Ooh, I like it. Number three, the best cleanup crew, shrimp or snails?
Shrimp.
Nice. I like it. You kind of already nailed this, but nano or monster fish in your favorite category of like actually watching or seeing?
Probably nano, yeah.
Nice. Rice fish or white clouds?
Rice fish.
I like it. I like it. Acrylic or glass tanks?
Glass is all I can afford. Glass.
I like that. I like that. Gobies or darters?
Gobies.
Oh, nice, nice. That was a good one. Speed round's over.
I
Speed
have
round's
like
over.
a dozen goby species, over a dozen goby species.
I already knew
so
the answer before you
yeah.
answered that one.
Oh,
I knew the
okay.
answer.
Well, hey, I gotta throw that in there.
In fact,
honestly,
I'm like standing outside in my carport just because it's a nice day, but like I should probably go have some fish behind me so I don't just seem like you found me at the bus stop.
So, Alex,
That
let
was-
me ask you this, bud. What is not in your room at this minute that you feel will be there in the next 6 months?
Piles of cash. No, no, I think the rumor is that Nanochromis splendens might be.
Well, besides the Nanochromis splendens, I know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, aren't they a West African species?
Yes.
The reason I bring that up,
Correct.
I won't mention the YouTuber's name, but he was trying to diss me on a stream the other day saying Kenny knows nothing about West African species.
oh, did
I'm
you?
like,
Oh.
Believe it or not, Alex, you would have been proud. I just left the stream. I'm like, apparently this dude don't know me, and I'm not going to argue with them.
Yeah.
Them's his fighting words, man.
They was fighting words, but I just wanted to clarify because you're my buddy, and I know you got some knowledge. I could have swore that they were a West African species.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And what
You know?
river are they out of, just to clarify?
Well, they're out of a couple, but I mean, I
One
think
of which,
well, the Congo is the main one.
boom, you just answered the question for the gentleman.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, I was actually looking at that after a stream the other night, and like, yeah, there's the Congo River. You know that there's over 400 tributary rivers. I mean, that are big enough to navigate by boat that feed into the Congo. Like,
The Congo's
nuts.
huge, man.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
huge river.
I definitely do now.
it's interesting though that the biodiversity is nowhere near as comprehensive as like the Amazon though. Like there is a large biodiversity and there's a lot we haven't explored because of war and just hard to get to. But the Amazon definitely has like something like 40 or 50% more species diversity.
Not to mention on both of those river systems, there's still people that probably believe strange humans on the food chain too. I mean,
oh, totally. I mean, yeah, there's uncontacted tribes all over the Amazon. I mean, and when I say uncontacted, yeah, they've seen planes. They know societies out there, but they
don't
still
want you
live,
in there.
Yeah, they still live, you know, mostly the same. I think it's funny though. People think that like uncontacted people are just like whatever, like that they're totally isolated, like idiots. And it's like, you know, when they first found some of the Kung Song people in Namibia in the 1960s that were still like barefoot hunting giraffes by running them down, they had rifles. And so when they were like, we want to see you, the film crew came in 1960 and was like, we want to see you hunt a giraffe. And so they were like, okay. And they just like walked out into the bush and shot it with a rifle. It's like a 30-06. And they were like, we want to see how your tribe does it. And they're like, that's how we've done it for 300 years. And they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, we've been in the trade network for 300 years. The Dutch got here 500 years ago. It's like, you know, we heard about them. They're only 1,000 miles away. We just don't want anything to do with them, you know? So yeah, it is interesting, but I always wonder like what, oh, actually I want to switch my camera around because my fish are doing something cool. But I always wonder what the native indigenous peoples are thinking about us coming in and collecting little fish. Like usually the answer seems to be like, what's it good for? You can't eat it, you know? So I always find that interesting. Where are we at?
You got
here?
Patrick with a question after you.
Oh yeah, sure, go for it. Where did they go?
He's good at multitasking, man.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I just didn't know you were into something important. So
So,
four different.
Alex, do you know 4 different countries in
four-
Africa?
names came from the present-day state of Louisiana and one from Mexico. No, you know, I'm trying to think of what that would be. I mean, I know there's like, you know, Liberia and stuff. The thread fins were just jousting for a moment there.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh, they were smacking bellies, huh?
It's actually the two males. So I hope they weren't for the sake of the females. Because those females, like, they're going to be disappointed if that's the setup for this tank. The glare is terrible. Sorry guys. Sorry about the glare. Now that they're on point, they're not going to do it probably. But I can see them like, and all my thread fins perpetually have this little white dot. Oh, there they go. Have their white dot on their nose. Look at them
flaring, dude. They're showing off now.
Oh yeah, when I first walked in, they were just going around in circles like full speed. And right now they're just kind of fluttering, doing their little. They're not that colorful at the moment, but I think it's funny.
Cool rainbows, man.
Yeah, I love the rainbow. There they go.
Woo.
For a nano fish, I mean, they're pretty cool. Like I don't know. They're debatably a nano fish. If you don't count the streamers on their tail, they're only about 1.5 inches long. So, but I kind of cut off nano at 2 inches, full grown, finned and nose, usually. Yeah, but yeah, I just love watching them do that.
Dang.
And then these guys color up too. Like they'll get stripes on them. These are a collection point from Papua New Guinea. But they're in there with a bunch of different Stiphodon species and some shrimp, and they all seem to get along. Rob's the one you might dig. Are they even out right now? Oh yeah, he's hiding. Super stealth mode is the dragon goby. You can see his eyes, and that's it out of the sand. He's waiting for a scud. Like, I'll get him a scud, and he'll eat. You get watch him eat it. Let's see here.
Yo, culture and food. Oh snap!
I was gonna say there was the advertisement for bug bites. Fried formula.
Free advertisement.
No, nothing's free, Rob. You've been getting a hold of bug bites. Say you want some royalties or something, man.
Yeah, okay. I'll definitely hold my breath on that.
Apple juice gang in the house.
Yeah. Let's just expose this guy. He ate the bug and didn't come out of hiding. Hello. We know you're there, buddy. He just keeps digging farther down.
What's your biggest fish?
Unfortunately, my biggest fish recently offed himself. He jumped out of the tank. I have some mustard catfish that I was sent by Aquatic Arts like 2 years ago, and they're supposed to only get 4 inches. They're like 8 inches, the male, one of them. They can't be mustards. They have to be some other Synodontis that's just similar, or at least one of them. One of them's ginormous. So I'd say probably my biggest fish might be maybe my plecos in here. I've got some blue-eye lemon plecos that are probably 8 inches. Like this is the female, but I've got a male that's just ginormous who's like 5 years old, and he's got like the onodontodes that split like 2 or 3 different times.
Oh dang!
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I don't know where he's at though. And then I've also got surprisingly, I've got a goby in here that's like 8 inches long. So I mean, and these guys are only 2 inches long, so it's pretty impressive that he can hide. He's behind that. I'm sure they're both behind this set of rocks. But yeah, that's probably my biggest fish. One of those types. And then this is just like since in case you haven't seen them, some of my other nano tanks. I figured I'd walk around and show you while we were chatting. No. But I can multitask, so feel free to do whatever it is you want.
Dude. Hey, I don't get to see planted tanks like that because I can't keep plants to save my life.
Really? Oh
Dude, I
man.
can't even keep duckweed. Okay.
I think I know where that neon came from.
Oh yeah, yeah. Redfish, bluefish is the only place you're gonna find these guys. And if you guys saw my
Oh,
channel,
I like the long fins.
yeah, I mean the only place you're gonna get them is Europe, other than redfish, bluefish. These guys were covered in ick randomly about 3 weeks ago, and they've made a full recovery, which is nice.
Mine were pretty hardy too, Alex. Mine came in real healthy, and
Yeah,
but
I mean I've had them since like the week he got them, basically. Like before they were even up for sale, because I came and helped them take pictures of stuff. And they were really, really healthy for a long time, but something happened in my water that just like caused them to get ick. It must have just gotten like cold or stressed, or maybe a fish died. I don't know what happened, but yeah.
looks like you had another question. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to do it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I can see it. What type of goby is the big one? The big one is a red belly goby. I can't remember his Latin name, but he's big. He's just really chunky, really long, and very big. Definitely a meat eater goby, like an ambush style goby. Yeah, I really like these Burmese multi-banded border loaches. They're not the border loach that you see oftentimes, but these, and then the African barbs that are in here too, the one that just came up front, I really like those, the 9-banded barbs. Those are favorites. But yeah, I have some ancestors that have long fins, some blue eyes, albino blue eyes, and some green dragons that are decent sized fish. And then I did have an angelfish that was almost just under 9 inches from tip to tip on his height. Like he was bigger than my whole hand when he like fully flared.
Dang.
So yeah. And these guys are kind of one of my favorites at the moment too. These Apisto Panduros are fun for a little cichlid. And here's the male. Let me see if I can kind of tap him and get him to come on, dude.
A loach 16 inches? Dang.
Whoa. Yeah, loaches, like clown loaches, are freaking ginormous sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I think plants, honestly, for me, plants make the aquarium so much easier, man. So when you say that it's hard to keep plants, like that you can't keep them alive, like for me, like, man, if I have like this tank is my hardest tank to control. And it's because it's all floating plants and mosses and epiphytes. And then, like, I'm trying to show you guys one of the mustard cats that's in here. If I can get him.
I think what he was trying to say there, Alex, is Rob and myself both keep pretty good sized cichlids.
You do.
Cichlids tend to tear the plants apart, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, like, I feel like African fish in general are a lot harder on plants too. I mean, like, yeah, there's like pacus and paraibas and stuff in South America that are a bit rough on things, but the African, they'll just like chomp, 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 eat it all. So, anybody got any hints on how to get these guys to spawn? My leucistic / they call them albino, but they're just leucistic cribs. I put them in 3 different tanks. Normally my cribs breed no problem, like normal cribs. I've raised 9 different types of cribs, but I cannot get these 2 to spawn for the life of me.
I was gonna say, cribs, you don't usually have to do anything. They just do it on their own.
Yeah.
I've had them over a year now. I'm wondering if she's just infertile. Right? Yeah.
And you feed live food, so they're always eating. So yeah.
I mean, he's a fatty.
And you have coverage.
Just got mad.
And you have caves. You have caves, obviously. So
yeah, they've got like 4 caves back in there.
Oh goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of tanks set up on these racks right now that are, like it's going that way, so it's 2 feet deeper than just what you're seeing here. So it's a 20. The other
Somebody says you need to get some strong berry white playing in the fish room. Bro.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and put some Malefics in the air. Just open it up. It smells real good. It'll get them going.
I think the berry white is gonna be the trick, you know. Let's get it on.
Come on, baby. Let's get it on.
So what's in this
Yeah.
tank?
These are Valiant Gouramis, also known as Samurai or Rainbow Gouramis.
Oh.
They're kind of cool in that they are a bubble nesting mouth brooder where the males have a pouch. See this white pouch on its throat? It expands like a pelican. And they can actually hold the babies that way, or they can just scatter them and peace out. They do both. So the males are black and white like that, and the
Females are
females,
stunning on this species.
yeah. If she was colorful right now, you would see she's like actually a rainbow, kind of like a chocolate cichlid. If you've seen them in their spawning colors, it's kind of similar.
Yes,
But they move very interesting in there, and there's so much freaking duckweed in this that it's kind of tainting the color. And there's so many shrimp in this tank. They hunt the shrimp. Like that's the trick to getting these guys to spawn is that they just need. Yeah, these are Malawa shrimp that can reproduce really quick. They're kind of like ghost shrimp in their reproduction pace.
You don't want to give me shrimp; they'll die too.
Well,
shrimp
like
they're not welcome in my water for some reason, and it's not me; it's my water.
You would think that, like, because I have also cichlids in this little thing. I've got some gold cichlids and a Apisto borelli. There's the Apisto. And you would think that the shrimp would all be dead by now, like that they would all be eaten and gone. But I mean, I had over 200 shrimp in this 15 gallon when I put the cichlids in, and I think that they just honestly can't keep up with how quickly they reproduce. So, and they've got enough cover, but yeah, there's still hundreds of shrimp in here, and all the fish. I can leave this tank and just never feed it, and they're fine. Between like some planaria and some seed shrimp and some water fleas at the top, they just do their own thing. Like, don't need to worry about that tank at all. And then down here, this tank, I had the Aspidoras, C125s. I've got some Nanochromis parlus that won't spawn for me either. I've had those. What is that, Kenny? Going on a year almost, probably?
At least.
Yeah. He brought me those. And
can we get layman terms? What fish is it? I don't know what Latin word that is.
I would tell you if it had a common name.
It doesn't even have a common name yet.
It doesn't even have. Oh my goodness.
No. And not to mention the Aspidoras, like it hasn't even been identified scientifically. So it's called C125. So hey Foxy, what's going up, Foxy's Fishes? Roxanne, I will be on her show tomorrow night, by the way.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Roxanne's always a fun time, man.
Everybody's trying to get that interview. That's nice.
So
it has been.
I did see up further somebody was asking you, what are your water parameters at your place there?
Wet mostly. No, I have a TDS coming out of the tap of about 30, so I can kind of make it whatever I want. A lot of my tanks I keep pretty neutral to acidic. This tank here, the shrimp tank, is pretty similar to a lot of my tanks in that it's probably like a 6.5 to 6.8 pH, somewhere in there, and then it's usually got an active substrate with an active aqua soil, and then it's usually I guess like the TDS gets up to around 100 to 150 in most of my acidic jungle tanks. But if I'm breeding something like this is where all the baby fry for the Aspidoras and the Corridoras down below. All the babies are in here with these panda loaches and shrimp, and I'm just gonna let them eat whatever they feel like eating. So yeah, but the temperature in this room has been I do have heaters still in most of the tanks,
Okay.
but they're just on for an emergency. Like they'll click on at like 72 or 70, like, you know,
Okay.
if it got really cold. But for the most part, everything's around 76 to 77, 78 degrees. And
Nice.
then TDS 150 to 200 in the old tanks. And then I'd say the pH is mostly 6.5 to 7 with a few exceptions. And what else? KH, GH is usually like, I don't know, 4 or 5 for each of those, something like that.
How do you
But
know
then I
all
do have,
this?
well, I have test kits and I just do that. But
I have test kits and I don't know none of that. You know what I do? Water change, prime. That's all I need. That's it. I don't
well,
know
I mean,
none of that.
I feel that. I feel you on that. Like
That's
this one,
crazy how you know that.
this one, I just change out this one's just all about water changes because this has
Really?
half beaks in it from Lake Sulawesi. And then it has all the quarries and it has some Congo cichlids in it, dwarf cichlids and Anachromis. What else is in here? Some Borneo loaches, Venezuela corridoras, and then rainbow fish, Pseudomcgill gilberti, which pretty much the only thing with a common name are pepper quarries, longfin pepper quarries. I call these guys B-52s because I think they look like a B-52 bomber, like with their giant fins.
So the Venezuela, did you get the Venezuelan blacks? Is that what you're referring to?
They're Venezuelan orange and black, but they're kind of almost blue. Here, I'll try to scare them out of the corner a bit.
I don't want to have fish that I can't pronounce their name. I'm sorry.
So there goes one. But
half of his fish I can't pronounce.
Yeah, dude, when you get into the gobies, they're real hard to pronounce. But I mean, look at the fins on this guy. He's just got like fins that are ginormous. I don't keep domesticated fish that have fins that make it so they can't get around, you know, like pearl scale goldfish and stuff like that. Like, right. I just think that it's kind of mean almost. Or even the ribbon tail guppies I've kind of stopped keeping, even though I used to keep them. But yeah, that's about as far as modification as I'll go, is like that kind of stuff. Oh, there's the little dragon. Oh, he just went back in the sand. Never mind. But this tank has like 7 goby species in it at the moment. And it's loaded to the brim. Like, I'm playing with fire. I fully realize that that in a 20 long, I've got 7 goby species, and there's like 3 or 4 of each of them.
Ooh.
Along with the shrimp?
Along with the shrimp. The shrimp are kind of my canaries in the coal mine, so to speak. Like, if they start having issues or turning like pink rather than red, because they're all pretty high grade, that's when I know, like, oh, I better do a water change. But I try to do a water change on this tank every other day or every 3 days, and then I try to do a spot vac every single day, like get up all this debris, because there's not any filtration in the substrate here. There is a hang off the back that's for 50 gallons, good to 50 gallons, and this is a 20. And there's some plants. I mean, there's Bulbitis and Boos and Anubias and some Crips. But yeah, for the most part, and there's a few floating plants. But for the most part, there's not much room for error because of the sand. Just if you have just, you know, glass, sand, or gravel, and that's it, you're kind of in trouble. Whereas like this tank here, let me scoot the light forward. This tank here hasn't had a filter on it for over several, like probably 2 years now. No filter, no heater, no anything. During the live stream, I dropped my little spatula thing for aquascaping in there, and I just haven't fished it out yet. I should do that right now. But yeah, this tank, I mean, it's a deep substrate and also has just a lot of plants. Obviously, there's super plant density. But I wanted to show people that, I mean, I don't recommend it for new fish keepers what I recommend is that you keep a tank and then slowly cut off the filtration if you want to try this when you've kept, a dozen tanks or so. But basically this tank here is able, with the scuds and everything, I don't have to feed this tank. It's got Danios, it's got Pandagaras, and it's got some really pretty 2 bettas that are in here at the moment. There's this one, this Galaxy Koi, and then there's a really pretty yellow one, which you don't see very often, like a bold yellow betta. But yeah, so this tank here is kind of it was kind of my project tank, trying to see how long I could keep a tank without it crashing or anything. But the nitrates are always at like undetectable levels. Here we go. Here comes the betta. Let me bring it up forward. Here comes this beautiful gal. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I've got everything from that to this, which has 2 75-gallon hang off the backs, to sponge filters with my puffers, and none of these have any filtration. That one has a sponge filter actually, but nothing else does. And I mean, some of them are pretty densely populated. There's quarries in here too.
Do you have any coral sand used for breeding problems or any of saltwater for some saltwater fish?
Oh yeah. This tank down here, like I was saying, even though it's mostly stuff that likes the softer water, I add crushed coral pretty much to every tank, like at least a quarter to half a cup per 10 gallons is kind of my rule of thumb. And that just gives you the basic calcium and carbonate that, I mean, plants and fish just kind of will have, unless they're really true. Like gobies, rainbow fish are kind of the exceptions that really love soft water. I mean, sometimes rams, I guess, too.
Okay.
But
besides that, I like that.
This is a little 12.5, and this is least killifish, and it's also Elasoma, which are Gulf Coast pygmy sunfish. They're like a bright blue. The males are blue and black, and they're like an inch long. They're really cool. But they're all really shy. That's the only problem with this tank, is everybody's shy. But they've been having babies, and I moved some of the babies up into this tank here with all the scuds and all that. But Anna's asking, what substrates do you have? And the answer is everything. I mean, I've got everything from just ADA, Amazon, to fluval stratum mixed with ADA, to coral and sand and stone in the puffer tank. For their teeth, I like to give them a little more hardness. But then this one, I was going to say here, the pH in this one with the gouramis is super low. Like it hovers between 5.5 and 6 as its norm. And then if I throw catappa leaves in, I can get it all the way down to 4.5. And so this is where I've done all my breeding of like Phoenix rasboras and Sundadanio. They're like little blue axelrod rasboras, the neon blue and green and red. They come in all colors pretty much. But yeah, so there's that. And then I've also got the tank out here where the substrate, this one is like the mother of all substrate combos. It's got a 9-inch deep substrate in the back with a lava rock band and a plenum underneath that.
Your substrate's just as tall as me, dude. Come on now.
Yeah. So it's got anoxic filtration, anaerobic filtration, and then aerobic filtration for, most of it. But you can see it starting to stratify in the different bacteria that lives at each layer. But I kind of just looked at like your average lake or pond and what that looks like in Southeast Asia. And kind of copied that, but with the lava rock, and then also the filter goes down into this with there's pipes that run through this and another PVC pipe in here, so there's an open void in there that kind of mixes around with the lava rock, which is kind of what builds up the whole like riser of this tank.
Okay.
And so that the lava rock itself, just biologically because of the surface area, holds a lot of beneficial bacteria.
That's a nice one.
Here's the leopard frog pleco. Let's see if we can see them from another angle. They're so pretty, these guys.
Without dropping the phone in there.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I love these guys. I've got 5 of these in here. The biggest one's probably only 4.5, 5 inches maybe. Yeah, this tank doesn't look like it's got a ton going on, but it's got a lot of bottom dwelling critters. Usually the big there he is. Usually the big leopard frog pleco is back up in here. See if I can get a shot of him without scaring him away. Oh no, this isn't the big one. This is the female. There we go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're really pretty when they're happy and doing their flirty thing. They actually turn like, banana yellow or even brighter orange and black.
That would be nice to see.
Yeah, I got pictures of it, definitely. So in any case, all right, I'm done wandering around. You guys look at my tanks. I just figured
rimless tanks.
I figured I'd show you guys that. Well, since my face is pretty much the same all the time. So
I learned a lot about a lot of fish that you don't have names for because they're just crazy.
Yeah, I like the newer fish. I mean, people who are newer to the hobby may not realize it, but like CPDs, celestial pearl danios, those were only discovered in 2006. They only made it to the hobby in 2007 and 8. And I mean, there's a lot of really new species that we keep now that have become really popular. Same with the rummy nose rasbora. Same with a lot of the quarries and a lot of the plecos too.
Yeah, he does have the collection, doesn't he, Anna?
Yeah.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah. I just got this. We just got this house, and so we just got a lot more. Well, not really a lot more room, but I got my own room. My wife said, if you make it to 20,000 subscribers, basically, you can, you're serious about the YouTube thing, and I'll let you have a whole room. But before that, it was kind of like your hobby has gotten out of control. So thank you for validating my addiction into a occupation. That's very nice of you all to help do that. So yeah. Awesome. And then I've also got outside tubs and ponds that I'm gonna be setting up, but there's not a whole lot to look at. I mean, they're just scattered around, like, it's like you're at the the neighborhood trailer park or whatever. I've just got buckets and barrels and Rubbermaids and things just filled for Madaka rice fish and killifish and just anything that can basically handle right above freezing. That is something I'll consider keeping. So,
nice.
Yeah.
It's going on 58 minutes.
It is not. We're already through an hour like that.
What? And I just chatted my big dumb mouth off too much.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, we like that, man.
Dude, I think everybody has sat here and literally listened to everything. My last question is, how many fish and plants can you identify, if you do know that?
I don't know for sure. I know that at my house about a year ago, I had 180 species at the peak of plants. And I have a list of 300 species of fish that I've kept and about 130 that I've bred. So most of those, I mean, I do forget though, like, I'll remember the species name, but not the full thing, that does happen.
In most clubs, he is known as a grand master breeder.
Yeah. Like Bentley Pasco, who also has a YouTube channel. He and I are friends. And one of my earlier videos was actually touring his place, his rainbow fish collection, which is about an hour from my house. But him and I for a while were battling. We both had gotten to grandmaster like I think he's on like 9 times now, but I stopped submitting points at like 4 or 5 and just was like, okay, I quit. Like that's enough. Like I don't need the validation of like going and getting the awards, because in our club the way it works is you start over, so you get like novice 4 or whatever.
Okay.
So people are like, what's going on? I thought he just got a grandmaster award. Now he's getting a beginner's like accomplishment award. But they just let you do it as many times as you want, and then it's kind of like black belt, you know, like you're a 5th degree or whatever. But I kind of wish that like there was a national club that would kind of keep, like, I don't know, maybe a little bit stricter info. And the nice thing is, like, I've got YouTube as the proof of what I've been doing too. So I can literally just go back and be like, what was it that I was breeding that month or whatever? And usually, like, at least once a month, I make sure on a live stream to hit every tank, like throughout the course of a month, so that if I really needed to, within about an hour of watching, I can go back and figure out, oh yeah, that's the tank that had this and that and this. But in this house, I mean, the challenge is leaving it alone and having a bunch of planted tanks with really low acidity and stuff for the nanos that I like, Southeast Asians and the Amazonians and stuff. I really like the Orinoco Delta species right now that are in the flood waters, and also the Pantanal species are really interesting to me. But like, I have to leave those tanks, and my problem is I always fill them. And even when I get like a 50-gallon tank, like the big rimless, I fill it with nano fish. You know, I'll put 200 nano fish in it, and I always run my tanks really heavy because I always have a ton of plants. And so people a lot of times who are either new or whatever, who have ethical issues with certain things, are like, it's unethical to put 200, you know, neon blue tetras in the same 50-gallon. And it's, you know, to me, I'm like, no, that's how they live naturally, is in a big dense school in a bunch of plants. So
Oh, Rico had to have a good leaving comment for us there.
Wowzers. Wow.
oh wow.
Wow. So on that note,
now we know about his aim and that. Okay. All right.
wow.
Before we go, Alex, I have to say, brother, congrats on the 20 crate, bro. That
Hey.
rocks.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, viewers. I see a lot of familiar faces. And to those of you who aren't subbed, I don't want you. If you didn't find me by now, you're probably an idiot. No. So welcome. Please come check out the channel if you feel like it. And then you kind of got a taste of what a lot of the content is, if it's not a specific topical video. That's kind of what my live streams are like too, usually. So yeah, thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate it. And Kenny, thanks again for, you know, letting me know months ago about this opportunity. And yeah, I think I'm probably going to do a short stream on my own stream after this, just to say thanks for the 20K kind of thing. So
Nice.
yeah, but all right, guys, have an awesome one, and thank you.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
It was
Appreciate it.
definitely an enjoyable hot seat this week.
Yeah, peace.
All right, man. So for those who are watching this replay, you made it all the way to the end. Thank y'all so much. As always, for those in the chat, as always, I really appreciate y'all. We'll come back with another one. Kenny, go ahead and say what you need to say.
As always, love your fish. This is Kenny E with Danica Aquatics, and on the hot seat with my boy Rob 93.
All righty, y'all. As always, be kind and be courteous. See y'all later.